Negative thinking drains your energy, clouds your judgment, and holds you back from reaching your full potential. Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, and before you've even taken your first step out of bed, a voice inside your head whispers, "You're not good enough. You'll never make it. What if you fail again?" That voice is not the truth. It's your negative thinking. And for millions of people, that voice is louder than their dreams, stronger than their goals, and more convincing than reality itself. Negative thinking is a silent killer. It kills ambition before it even begins. It kills courage before it can act. It kills dreams before they have the chance to breathe. And the most dangerous part? Most people don't even realize they are prisoners of their own thoughts. They blame the world, their circumstances, or bad luck, when in reality, it is their own mind that has chained them. Think about it. How many times have you wanted to try something new but stopped because the thought, "I'll embarrass myself," crept in? How many opportunities have you missed because you convinced yourself you weren't ready, smart enough, or talented enough? Every time you believe those thoughts, you hand over your power to negativity. You surrender before the battle even starts. But here's the truth. Your mind is not your enemy. Your thoughts are not set in stone. You have the power to control, redirect, and kill negative thinking before it destroys you. History is filled with people who could have given in to negativity but chose a different path. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. Imagine if he had listened to the voice that said, "You're wasting your time." Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. What if he had believed, "I'm just not good enough"? Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. What if she had accepted that as truth? The world would be a darker place without these people, because they refuse to let negative thinking win. Here's what you need to understand. Negative thoughts will always be there. You can't completely erase them, but you can decide not to give them power. You can learn to silence the critic and amplify the champion within you. You can stop listening to the voice that says, "You can't," and start listening to the one that whispers, "You will." This video isn't just about motivation, it's about transformation. It's about teaching you the mindset and strategies to kill negative thinking and replace it with strength, confidence, and clarity. Because the truth is, success doesn't start with money, talent, or connections. It starts with the thoughts you allow to dominate your mind. So today, we are going to break free from the prison of negativity. We're going to unmask it, fight it, and destroy it before it destroys you. By the end of this journey, you'll not only recognize your negative thoughts, but also know exactly how to silence them, replace them, and rise above them. Remember this. Your mind can be your greatest weapon or your greatest weakness. The choice is yours. And today you choose to fight back. You choose to kill your negative thinking and unlock the limitless potential that has always been inside you. Let's begin. Part 1. Recognize the enemy. The first step to killing negative thinking is to recognize it for what it truly is. An enemy disguised as a friend. Most of the time, negative thoughts don't scream at us. They whisper. They show up as logic, caution, or being realistic. But in reality, they are invisible chains holding us back from becoming who we are meant to be. Think about it. When you tell yourself, "I'm just being cautious," or "I don't want to fail," isn't that just fear wearing a different mask? Negative thinking hides itself so cleverly that many people never identify it. They believe their own excuses. They mistake fear for wisdom, hesitation for responsibility, and doubt for humility. And so they remain stuck living a life far smaller than what they are capable of. To defeat any enemy, you first have to see it clearly. Imagine a boxer stepping into the ring blindfolded. No matter how strong he is, he's going to get beaten because he can't see his opponent. The same is true with your mind. If you don't know how negativity attacks you, you will keep losing battles you don't even realize you're fighting. So how do you recognize negative thinking? Pay attention to your inner dialogue. Do you find yourself constantly asking, what if it goes wrong, instead of what if it goes right? Do you compare yourself to others and always feel like you're behind? Do you replay your mistakes more often than you visualize your victories? These are not harmless thoughts. They are signs that negativity has taken control of your mindset. Let's take a story. There was a young man who wanted to start a business. Every time he got excited about an idea, his mind would tell him, but what if it fails? What if people laugh at you? What if you lose money? He listened to these thoughts for years. Opportunities passed, his dreams collected dust, and his confidence shrank. The tragedy wasn't that his ideas weren't good enough. It was that he believed the lies in his head more than the possibilities in his heart. This is exactly how negativity wins. It doesn't have to defeat you in reality. It only has to defeat you in your imagination. Once you accept those thoughts as truth, you stop trying. And when you stop trying, you've already lost. Recognizing negative thinking means calling it out. The next time you hear, "You're not good enough," stop and say, "That's not my truth. That's my fear." When you think, "I'll probably fail," replace it with, "I'll learn and grow no matter what happens." Awareness is the first and most powerful weapon in your fight. You can't kill what you can't see. But once you recognize negativity for the fraud it is, you strip away its power. And the moment you do that, you open the door to transformation. Part 2. Reframe. Every thought. Once you recognize negative thinking, the next step is to reframe it. You can't stop your mind from producing negative thoughts, but you can control how you respond to them. Imagine your thoughts as messages on a screen. You can choose which ones to delete, which ones to ignore, and which ones to amplify. Reframing is about taking that destructive thought and turning it into fuel for growth. Most people think in terms of limitation. I can't do this. I'm not smart enough. I'll never succeed. But here's the truth. Those are not facts. They're interpretations. They're stories your mind is telling you. And just like any story, they can be rewritten. Take this simple example. Instead of saying, "I can't handle this challenge," reframe it into, "This challenge will make me stronger." Instead of thinking, "I always fail," shift it to, "Every failure is teaching me how to win." The power of reframing is that it doesn't deny reality. It changes the perspective so you can use reality to your advantage. Think of Thomas Edison, who was once asked how he felt about failing 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. His reply, "I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps." That's reframing in its purest form. He didn't let failure define him. He turned it into proof that he was getting closer to success. Let's make this more personal. Imagine you're about to speak in front of a crowd. Your mind says, "What if I mess up? What if they laugh?" If you believe that thought, fear wins. But if you reframe it to, "This is my chance to grow. Even if I stumble, I'll inspire someone by showing courage," suddenly the fear loses its grip. The situation is the same, but the meaning you give it changes everything. Here's a simple strategy. Every time you notice a negative thought, ask yourself 3 questions. 1. Is this thought a fact or just my fear? 2. What's a more empowering way to see this situation? 3. If my best friend had this thought, what would I tell them? By answering these, you train your brain to automatically search for solutions instead of problems. You stop being a victim of your thoughts and start being the author of them. The truth is, your brain is wired to protect you from danger. That's why it often defaults to negativity. It's trying to keep you safe. But safety doesn't build greatness. Safe doesn't create success. If you want to rise higher, you have to train your mind to see opportunities where others see obstacles. Reframing isn't about lying to yourself. It's about choosing the perspective that gives you strength instead of weakness. Negative thoughts will come, but when you learn to flip them, you strip them of their power. And once you master this, you no longer live in fear of your thoughts, you live in control of them. Part 3. Stop feeding negativity. Here's a hard truth. Negative thinking doesn't survive on its own, you feed it. Every day, through what you watch, what you listen to, the people you surround yourself with, and the conversations you entertain, you are either strengthening negativity or starving it. If you want to kill negative thinking, you must stop feeding it. Think of your mind like a garden. Whatever seeds you plant and water will grow. If you plant weeds, fear, doubt, gossip, complaints, they will spread and choke out everything good. But if you plant flowers, hope, gratitude, inspiration, courage, they will flourish and make the weeds powerless. The question is, what are you watering daily? Let's be honest. How much time do you spend scrolling through social media, comparing your life to others? Every image, every post, every highlight reel you consume feeds the thought, I'm not enough, I'm behind, my life doesn't measure up. Without realizing it, you are strengthening the very negativity that keeps you trapped. Or think about the conversations you engage in when you spend time around complainers, critics, and pessimists. You absorb their energy. Their words plant doubts in your mind, and slowly you start believing them. Here's the truth. If you hang around 5 negative people, you will become the 6th. If you constantly feed your mind with news filled with fear, gossip filled with judgment, or entertainment filled with toxicity, you are poisoning your thoughts. You cannot expect a positive life with a negative diet. Now imagine flipping the script. Instead of scrolling through meaningless comparisons, you listen to motivational talks, read books that inspire growth, or follow people who challenge you to be better. Instead of hanging around toxic circles, you spend time with those who encourage your dreams, push you to grow, and believe in possibilities. Suddenly, the voice of negativity weakens because it is no longer being nourished. Let's take a quick story. A young woman struggled with deep self-doubt. Every day, she surrounded herself with friends who laughed at her goals and told her to be realistic. Her thoughts became darker, and she nearly gave up on her dreams. But one day, she decided to change her circle. She began attending seminars, following mentors online, and keeping a gratitude journal. Within months, her self-belief grew, her goals felt possible again, and the voice of negativity that once controlled her became faint. What changed? She stopped feeding her enemy and started feeding her strength. Here's your challenge. Audit your inputs. Write down the things you consume daily: TV, social media, conversations, music, books, and ask yourself, does this build me or break me? Does this feed my strength or my weakness? Then make the choice. Reduce the noise that tears you down and amplify the voices that lift you up. Negativity is like fire, it dies without fuel. Stop feeding it and you'll watch it shrink until it no longer controls your life.
Part 4. Take action fast. If negative thinking has one best friend, it's overthinking. The longer you sit with a negative thought, the more powerful it becomes. It grows roots, builds stories, and creates fear that feels real. That's why one of the fastest ways to kill negativity is to act before it has the chance to take control. Think about this. How many times have you wanted to try something new, apply for a job, start a project, speak up in a meeting, but you hesitated? In that tiny pause, your brain rushed in with doubts. What if I fail? What if they reject me? What if I embarrass myself? And the longer you waited, the heavier those doubts became until you eventually did nothing. That's how negativity wins. It doesn't need truth, it just needs time. Action is the antidote to overthinking. The moment you take a step, fear loses its grip. Imagine standing on the edge of a cold swimming pool. You hesitate, telling yourself, it's going to be freezing. I might regret this. But the second you jump in, your body adjusts, and you realize it wasn't as bad as your mind made it out to be. Life works the same way. Fear is loudest before action, but once you move, it goes silent. Here's the strategy. Whenever a negative thought appears, don't argue with it, act against it. If your mind says, you can't go to the gym today, you're too tired, put on your shoes and go anyway. If your thoughts say, don't speak up, you'll sound stupid, raise your hand and share your idea. If your inner voice whispers, don't start that business, you'll fail, take one small step, register the name, create a plan, talk to a mentor. Each action you take is a punch against negativity. Let's take an example. A man dreamed of becoming a writer, but for years, he told himself, I don't have the talent. People won't read my work. Then one day, instead of listening, he acted. He wrote one page. That page became a chapter, and that chapter became a book. Today, he is a published author. His success wasn't born from confidence, it was born from action. Confidence came later. This is the secret most people miss. Waiting for confidence is a trap. Confidence doesn't come before action, it comes after. The more you act, the stronger you become. The more you hesitate, the louder negativity grows. So here's your challenge. The next time a negative thought rises, don't give it time to root itself. Take action within the first 5 seconds. Send the message, make the call, take the step. Do it scared, do it uncertain, do it messy, but do it. Negativity can only survive in stillness. Once you move, once you act, it loses its power. Kill hesitation, and you kill negativity. Part 5. Build a success environment. Your environment is shaping you every single day, whether you realize it or not. The people you spend time with, the places you live and work in, the conversations you hear, even the energy around you, they all influence your mindset. And here's the truth. You cannot kill negative thinking if you are trapped in a negative environment. Think of it like this. If you plant a seed in toxic soil, it doesn't matter how much water or sunlight it gets, the environment will limit its growth. The same is true for you. You may have big dreams and strong goals, but if you constantly surround yourself with negativity, you'll struggle to grow. Look at your circle. Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Do they challenge you to be better, or do they drag you down with complaints, criticism, and fear? Are they builders of dreams or killers of confidence? Because whether you want it or not, their energy is rubbing off on you. If you are surrounded by doubters, you'll start doubting. If you are surrounded by achievers, you'll start achieving. Here's a powerful story. There was a young man who worked in a company where every coworker complained about the boss, the salary, the workload, the future. Day by day, he noticed his own energy sinking. His dreams felt impossible, and his negative thoughts grew louder. But then he made a bold move. He changed jobs and surrounded himself with ambitious, hungry, positive people. Within months, his energy shifted. He felt inspired, started a side business, and began believing in himself again. Nothing magical happened, Only his environment changed, and so did his mindset. Your environment is not just people, it's also what you allow into your personal space. If your room is messy, your mind will feel cluttered. If your phone is filled with distractions and negative content, your thoughts will be restless. But when you design your environment with intention, clean space, motivational books, positive reminders, uplifting content, you create conditions for growth. One simple but powerful practice is building a success corner in your room or workspace. Place affirmations, a vision board, a few inspiring books, maybe even a journal. This little environment will remind you daily of who you want to become. Instead of waking up to chaos, you'll wake up to clarity. Of course, you can't always control every environment. You may work with negative people or live around doubters, but you can always control how much influence you allow them to have. Limit your exposure, protect your energy, and feed yourself with positivity the moment you step away. Remember this, negativity thrives in the wrong environment. If you want to kill negative thinking, plant yourself where positivity, growth, and belief are the norm. Your dreams don't just need discipline, they need the right environment to grow. Part 6. Practice gratitude and self-belief. One of the most powerful weapons against negative thinking is gratitude. Why? Because negativity thrives on what you don't have, what went wrong, and what you fear. Gratitude flips the script. It forces your mind to focus on what you already have, what's going right, and what makes life worth living. Think about it. When was the last time you stopped and truly appreciated the small things? The fact that you woke up today, that you can see, walk, breathe, and dream. The simple blessings we ignore every day are the very reasons we can overcome negativity. Gratitude is not just a feel-good habit, it's a mental reprogramming tool. When you start your day by listing 3 things you're grateful for, you train your brain to search for positives instead of problems. Science even backs this up. Studies show that people who practice daily gratitude feel happier, more optimistic, and less likely to fall into cycles of negative thinking. Gratitude doesn't erase challenges, but it changes how you see them. Instead of "why me?" your mindset becomes "thank you for the lesson." Instead of "I lost," it becomes "I learned." Let me tell you a story. A man was going through one of the darkest times of his life. He lost his job, his savings, and nearly his confidence. Negative thoughts consumed him daily. "You're a failure. You'll never recover. It's over." But one day, he tried something different. Every night before bed, he wrote down 3 things he was grateful for, even if it was as simple as "I had food today" or "the sun was shining." Within weeks, his mindset shifted. He no longer felt powerless. Gratitude gave him perspective, and with that perspective, he rebuilt his life. But gratitude alone is not enough, you must also practice self-belief. Because what good is seeing your blessings if you don't believe you are worthy of using them? Self-belief is the foundation of confidence. It's not arrogance, it's the quiet certainty that no matter what happens, you'll figure it out. Negative thinking says, "You can't." Self-belief answers, "Maybe I don't know how yet, but I will learn." It doesn't mean you'll succeed every time, it means you'll never stop trying. And in the long run, that's what creates winners. So, how do you strengthen self-belief? Start small. Keep promises to yourself. When you say you'll exercise, do it. When you set a goal, follow through. Every time you honor your word, your brain learns, "I can trust myself." And the stronger that trust becomes, the weaker negative thinking gets. Gratitude grounds you. Self-belief lifts you. Together, they form an unstoppable shield against negativity. When you are thankful for what you have and confident in who you are, negative thoughts lose their grip. Part 7, Kill Negative Thinking with Discipline. Motivation is powerful, but it doesn't last forever. Some days you'll wake up inspired and ready to conquer the world, but other days, negativity will hit you the moment you open your eyes. That's why you cannot rely on motivation alone, you need discipline. Discipline is the weapon that keeps you moving when negativity tries to pull you down. Think of discipline as the silent soldier within you. It doesn't ask how you feel, it doesn't wait for the right mood, it simply does what needs to be done. Negative thinking thrives on delay and weakness. It whispers, "You're too tired. Skip it today. Do it tomorrow." But discipline answers, "I do it anyway." And that simple act kills the power of negative thoughts. Take the example of exercise. Negative thinking says, "You're too tired to work out. You won't see results anyway." But if you've built discipline, you lace up your shoes and go to the gym regardless of your feelings. The result? Not only do you defeat the thought, but you also strengthen your confidence. Each disciplined action becomes proof that you're stronger than your excuses. Here's the truth, negativity feeds on inconsistency. When you break your promises to yourself, when you give in to doubt and delay, you reinforce the belief that you are weak. But when you stay disciplined, even in small things, you train your brain to trust you. That trust becomes a shield against negativity. Let me share a story. A student once dreamed of becoming a doctor, but negative thoughts plagued him. "You're not smart enough. The exams are too hard. Others are better." He felt defeated daily. But instead of giving up, he created a disciplined routine: wake up early, study for 2 hours before school, and review every night. Day by day, he silenced his doubts with consistent action. Years later, he graduated with honors. What killed his negative thinking wasn't bursts of motivation, it was discipline. Discipline also creates momentum. The more consistent you are, the less space negativity has to creep in. Think of a train. At first, it moves slowly, struggling to gain speed. But once it's moving, nothing can stop it. Your disciplined habits work the same way. Every day you stick to your routine, every time you choose action over excuses, you build unstoppable momentum. Here's how you can start. 1. Create simple, non-negotiable habits. Even 5 minutes of daily practice builds discipline. 2. Remove choice from critical actions. Don't debate whether to do it, make it automatic. 3. Track your consistency. Each day you follow through becomes evidence that you're in control. Remember this, motivation starts the journey, but discipline finishes it. Negative thoughts may whisper, but discipline drowns them out with action. Build discipline, and you build a mind that negativity cannot control. Part 8, Replace negativity with purpose. Negative thinking often fills the mind with doubt because it has nothing better to focus on. When your thoughts are aimless, fear and self-doubt sneak in, taking over your confidence and energy. One of the most powerful ways to kill negative thinking is to replace it with purpose. When you have a clear reason to act, negativity loses its grip because your mind is too busy working towards something meaningful. Purpose is not just about a career or a goal, it's the reason you get up in the morning, the reason your heart keeps pushing you forward even when life gets hard. It's what gives meaning to every challenge, every setback, and every opportunity. When you are guided by purpose, negative thoughts feel small, irrelevant, and powerless. Consider a story. A young woman struggled with constant self-doubt. She believed she wasn't talented, smart, or capable enough to succeed. Negative thinking dominated her days. But one day, she discovered her purpose, helping others overcome the very struggle she had endured. Suddenly, her focus shifted from fear to action. Every negative thought became a stepping stone rather than a barrier. Her purpose was bigger than her doubts, and that gave her the strength to rise. Here's the key: when you replace negativity with purpose, you are no longer reacting to fear, you are responding to possibility. Instead of thinking, "I can't do this," your mind asks, "How can I make this happen?" Instead of dwelling on mistakes, you focus on lessons learned and the next step forward. Purpose turns obstacles into opportunities and setbacks into lessons. To begin finding your purpose, ask yourself a few simple questions. 1. What am I passionate about? 2. What impact do I want to leave on the world or the people around me? 3. What am I willing to work for every day, no matter how difficult it gets? Your answers will guide your actions and give your mind a clear direction. When you know why you are doing something, it becomes easier to ignore the doubts and fears that negativity throws at you. Purpose gives clarity, and clarity kills confusion, the breeding ground of negative thoughts. Even small acts of purpose matter. Whether it's finishing a project, helping a friend, or improving your skills, every purposeful action weakens negativity. Every step toward what matters to you reinforces self-belief and diminishes fear. Over time, this becomes a habit. A mind focused on purpose automatically filters out thoughts that don't serve your growth. Remember, negative thinking only thrives when your mind is idle or unfocused. Feed your mind with purpose, and negativity has nowhere to grow. Make your purpose so vivid, so meaningful, that your doubts simply cannot compete. When you replace negativity with purpose, you don't just fight negative thinking, you transform it into a driving force for success. Your life becomes intentional, your mind becomes disciplined, and your future becomes unstoppable. Part 9. Strengthen your mind daily. Your mind is like a muscle. The stronger it becomes, the more resilient it is against negative thinking. If you ignore it, it grows weak and easily overpowered by fear, doubt, and self-criticism. But if you train it daily, you can develop unshakable focus, unwavering confidence, and unstoppable determination. Strengthening your mind isn't about learning more facts or memorizing strategies. It's about building habits that protect you from negativity and empower your thoughts. Start with small, consistent actions. Meditation, journaling, reading, visualization, or even simple reflection can transform the way you think. These daily practices help you observe your thoughts instead of being controlled by them. You learn to spot negativity before it takes root, to challenge it before it spreads, and to replace it with empowering beliefs before it undermines your confidence. Here's a story to make it real. A young entrepreneur faced constant doubts. Every day, his mind told him he wasn't ready, he wasn't smart enough, and his ideas would fail. Instead of giving in, he committed to daily mental exercises, 10 minutes of meditation in the morning, affirmations before work, and journaling each night about what he accomplished and what he was grateful for. Over months, his mental strength grew. He stopped being paralyzed by doubt and started taking decisive action. The result? His business grew, and so did his confidence, because his mind had been trained to focus on growth, not fear. Another way to strengthen your mind is through challenges. Push yourself into situations that test your patience, resilience, or courage. Negative thinking loves comfort zones. The moment you step out, it will try to tell you to retreat. Each time you resist, each time you act despite fear, you condition your mind to trust your own abilities rather than the lies of doubt. Consistency is the key. Just like muscles need daily workouts to grow, your mind needs daily mental training. It's not about giant leaps every day, it's about small steps repeated consistently. Read an inspiring story, visualize your goals, affirm your strengths, and reflect on lessons learned. Each habit builds mental resilience that protects you from negativity. Finally, remember that strengthening your mind isn't just for moments of struggle. It's a lifelong commitment. Life will always throw challenges, setbacks, and doubts your way. But the stronger your mind, the less power those negative thoughts have. You will face fear and failure, but they will no longer define you, they will only refine you. Daily mental strength is the final weapon in killing negative thinking. It shields you from doubt, guides you through fear, and empowers you to act despite uncertainty. A strong mind doesn't just survive, it thrives, and it transforms negativity into fuel for growth, action, and achievement. Life is too short to let negative thinking hold you prisoner. Every day you live with self-doubt, with fear, with excuses, is a day stolen from your future. Think about it. How many dreams have been buried, not because people weren't capable, but because they convinced themselves they weren't good enough? How many ideas, inventions, songs, books, and businesses were never born because someone listened to the voice of negativity more than the voice of possibility? The truth is, the only enemy strong enough to destroy your destiny is the enemy within, your negative thoughts. But here's the good news, you are stronger than those thoughts. Negative thinking is not who you are, it is just a habit, a pattern that has taken root in your mind. And just like any bad habit, it can be broken. You don't have to live under the weight of self-limiting beliefs. You can stand up, take control, and replace those destructive thoughts with empowering ones. Every time you say, "I can't," you give up power. Every time you say, "I can," you ignite strength. The world belongs to people who dare to believe in possibilities. Negative thinking is a thief, it steals your confidence, your courage, your creativity, and your chance at greatness. But you don't have to be a victim. You can kill it. You can silence it. You can rise above it. You kill negative thinking by refusing to feed it, by refusing to entertain it, by refusing to let it dictate your choices. You replace it with gratitude, with vision, with belief. And when you do that, your life transforms. Look at history. Every person who ever changed the world had countless reasons to doubt themselves. They had obstacles, failures, and critics. But what separated them from the rest was not a perfect life, not endless resources, it was their refusal to let negative thinking win. They failed, but they believed again. They fell, but they rose again. They faced fear, but they moved forward anyway. That is the key to success. Right now, you have two choices. You can continue to carry negative thinking like a heavy chain, dragging it with you, letting it control your future. Or, you can break free. You can say, "Enough. I will not let negativity destroy my life. I choose to believe in myself, in my future, and in my potential." That single decision can change everything. Because when you kill your negative thinking, you unleash your true power.
The world is waiting for your greatness. Your family, your community, your dreams, your future, they are all waiting for you to step into the best version of yourself. But you cannot rise if you are chained by negativity. You must cut the chain. You must silence the lies in your head that say you are not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy enough. You are enough. You always have been. So, stand tall. Take a deep breath. And declare war on your negative thoughts. Every day, every moment, choose positivity, choose belief, choose growth. Because your mind is the battlefield, and victory belongs to those who refuse to surrender. Kill your negative thinking and you will unlock doors you never imagined possible. Kill your negative thinking and you will rise to heights you once thought unreachable. Kill your negative thinking and you will finally live the life you were meant to live. Your time is now. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Kill your negative thinking and step into your greatness.